So guys, on today's video, we'll be talking on a very, very important topic, which is the fact that love alone can't sustain a marriage. Women, especially young women who are about to get into marriage, often make this mistake of saying that they will love this man, and when they stop loving him in that marriage, they start looking for a way to divorce him. Before you marry a man, you be like, I love this man. Then when you enter the marriage, let's say after some years, let's say some things happened, you grew out of love for him, and now you're looking for a way to divorce him. Now, trust me, love is not necessary for the success of a marriage. Love is not necessary for the durability of a marriage. I'm telling you guys, love is not a necessity in marriage. Because, like it or not, the simple truth is love is an emotion. It's just like now, love is just like being angry. At some point, you stop being angry. Love is just like happiness. At some point, you stop being happy and start feeling sad or start feeling depressed or whatever. Now, hinging the success of your marriage on love alone is risky. One of the reasons why divorce rate is so high today, and mind you, 80% of divorces are initiated or filed by women, is because women have this very delusional belief that if they stop loving a man, then they should not divorce him. This is very common in the Western countries. A woman will get married to a man. 5 years into the marriage, she stops loving him. Probably the man stopped doing those things he used to previously do when they were still dating. Those things that made that woman to like him or love him. He stopped doing those things. And now the woman doesn't love him again. And then that is now a good reason for them to file for divorce, which for me is very, very, very stupid. See, what makes a marriage to last is not love. In fact, love doesn't even come close to what makes a marriage to last. What makes a marriage to last? Because like it or not, most of our parents, most of our grandparents, most of our great-grandparents did not love each other. Yes, they did not love each other, but they were committed to each other. They were committed to the success of their marriages, and they were committed to raising their children in a family and not in a broken home. Unlike today, where modern feminism keeps destroying the ideology of family. Because like it or not, feminism is one of the major reasons why divorce rate is so high in Western countries. Because a situation whereby feminism tells women, if you stop loving your man, divorce him. If you are not having your way in that marriage, divorce him. If he's not giving you equal rights in the marriage, divorce him. Feminism is one of the major reasons. In fact, it's the major reason why most marriages today are in shambles. Why most marriages today, especially in the Western countries, have been destroyed. And at the end of it all, the greatest victims and the biggest victims of feminism are still women, because they're the ones who end up divorced, alone, and probably dying alone too. See, people might be like, why is this guy saying love is not necessary for a marriage to work? Love is good. Love is good, but don't forget, love is an emotion. You cannot be in love with your partner forever. Every single married couple, every single husband, every single wife, there comes a time in their marriage where the wife, especially the wife, because it's the women who are more attuned to feeling several sort of emotions. Women are more emotional than men. At some point in every woman's or wife's life, there comes a time in her life where she questions the love she has for her husband. It's normal. Now, once you begin to question something, there comes a room for doubt. You could easily start doubting what that feeling. For example, you're a wife and you start questioning your love for your husband. Before you know it, you might even start doubting that the fact that you love this man. And before you know it, you zone out. You grow out of love. Couples grow out of love. And don't forget, emotions are very erratic. Emotions easily change. That you're in love with this man doesn't mean that if you stop loving him, you should divorce him. You can't base something as serious as marriage on erratic emotions. This is my problem with women. Women tend to do a lot of stupid things out of their emotions. You ask her, why did you divorce him? I grew out of love for him. Growing out of love for your husband is not a reason for you to divorce him. Because like it or not, the next man you meet, you might also grow. In fact, there is a high possibility of growing out of love for him. Because it happens. We are all human beings. The only reason why majority of men are not the ones divorcing their women is because men are more logical. There are certain things that will happen to a man, and he will ask himself several questions, several logical questions. And before you know it, the idea of divorce has died in his head. Unlike women, a little thing happen, she start throwing tantrums, and before you know it, she files for divorce, acting all in her emotions. Hope you guys know that a woman who has divorced before, if she marries again, there is a 90% probability that she will divorce again. Divorcing women, when they marry again, there is a 90% possibility that they will divorce again, which is to say 90 out of 100 divorcing women who marry again also divorce, also end up divorcing their husbands, also end up divorcing their second husband. No marriage is perfect. I'm talking to girls. I know it's mostly guys who watch this my channel, but I'm talking to women. No marriage is perfect. That you grew out of love for your husband today doesn't mean it's a good reason to divorce him simply because you stopped loving him. Who does that? Marriage is not... Love plays no role in the success of a marriage. What plays a major role in the success of a marriage is, number one, commitment to making it work. And not just commitment from the wife alone, commitment from the husband too. Because one partner can't carry the burden of a marriage. That's the simple truth. If one partner decides to carry the burden of a marriage, that marriage will crash on their head. Marriage is a game of two people, not a game of one person. This is one of the reasons why I always tell people who are dating, I always tell people who are married, that you must demand the same amount of effort you input from your partner. You should not be the only one working or putting the effort in a marriage. Your partner should be doing the same thing. When it comes to efforts, marriage is all about you bring your 100%, I bring my 100%. Even though there are sometimes there will be lapses. Sometimes your partner can bring 70, you bring 100. Sometimes they can even bring 20 and you bring 100. But this is not all the time. There should always be a balance. Sometimes you could bring 100, sometimes you could bring 20, but your partner always balances you out. Because if you are bringing 20 and your partner is bringing 20, there's a problem. It becomes a problem. But if sometimes you bring 20, probably when you are down, you bring 20, and your partner, who is obviously your pillar, your support, brings you 100 to cheer you up, to improve, to make you feel better. Sometimes, probably when your partner is down and is bringing 20, you bring 100. That is why it's a partnership. The reason why a car has 4 tires. Do you know why a car has 4 tires? So that at least if one spoils, the other 3 can carry the burden of the car. It's as simple as that. The reason why there are 2 pilots in a plane is because if one partner, if you guys watch all these movies where they hijack planes, if one partner, probably they shot him or something like that, they shot him, the other partner will try to, The other pilot will try to steer the plane, try to gain control of the plane. So what I'm basically talking about is that marriage is a game of two. It's a game of two people. One person can carry the burden of a marriage all on himself or herself. And love doesn't play a role in the success of a marriage. Love is basically an addition. The most important thing is that the partners are committed. And the second most important thing in marriage is not love, it's communication. I keep saying this. If you want a marriage to succeed, to last long, to last till eternity, then you must observe the rule of saying your mind, tabling your mind, and talking it out. The easiest way for couples to destroy their marriage is when your partner does something you don't like, you hold it inside you, don't talk. When you do something your partner doesn't like, she will not talk, she just hold it back. One day, that's one partner that's been, keeping all to himself or all to herself, we explode. And before you know it, they file for divorce. So you married couples, people who are dating, who are in serious relationships, not this nonsense young people do these days, where one is exchanging her body and the other one is giving her money. That is not a relationship. That is casual entanglement. Is what I call it, casual entanglement. Now, like I said, the easiest way to make a marriage last is being committed. Both partners being committed and communication. Nothing can help a marriage last more than these two things. Love is a bonus. Love is just a feeling. Tomorrow you can stop loving your partner. But are you committed to him? Are you committed to him? When you go to the altar and couples exchange vows in sickness and in death, the pastor or what that means is not when you love him or not. It's not what he's talking about. He's talking about being committed, both during the good times and during the bad times. You don't need to love your husband to be married to him. As long as he fulfills his own duty as a husband, respects you. Come on. Love is just a feeling. It fades away. But the most important thing is that, are you committed to your marriage? Is your partner too committed to the marriage? Because if one partner is committed and the other person is not committed, it becomes a problem. But if both of you, if two of you are committed to each other in that marriage, trust me, the love will be there naturally. Without two of you even trusting yourself, the love will be there. Because commitment is, this person is putting efforts, you are putting the efforts. People will be happy with each other. You don't need to love your partner to be with him. You two need to be committed to each other. For example, now you ask a woman, what do you love about your husband? She'll be like, he spends on me, he takes me on vacation, he's sweet, he's funny. Those are the things she loves. What if one day that man stops being all these things? So you stop loving him and end the marriage? No. What commitment does is that if he eventually stops doing those things, you still commit to him. You still stay with him. Because this is what you signed up for. It's as simple as that. Anybody who is telling you guys that marriage will always be sweet, marriage will always be funny, is going to be all fun, is lying to you girls. Marriage, in fact, personally, I think there are more challenges. In fact, okay, it's equal. The challenges are enormous in marriage, and also the happiness and the fun is also there. So you must learn to appreciate the two. There are some girls who enter marriage with this mentality that I'm going to marry to enjoy. I'm going to marry to live a fun life. But when the troubles and the tribulations of marriage hits them, they start looking for a way to end the marriage. Yeah. Because when the trouble comes, they'll stop loving their husband. You see a woman who fell in love with her husband because her husband used to spend on her. Now, the husband is having financial problems. She stops loving him, and now she's looking for divorce. But if she was committed, if she understood that marriage is all about commitment and not love, she will stick by him. As we are sticking by him, we are, as long as we are committed to him, you just try to make sure that things turn out better, things become better. Not when you see a sign of bad times, you stop loving your husband and disappear or divorce him. No, it makes no sense. Marriage is all about commitment. People who have been in marriages for the past 20 years, couples who have married for the past 40 years, do you think it's love that kept them in that marriage? If it's love, trust me, people will not be married for even up to 1 year, even up to 6 months. Because the fact that you live in the same roof, under the same roof with that person, trust me, there's some time, within 6 months, you might stop loving that person. Yeah. Because love is mostly out of, when a girl or a man says, I'm in love with this girl, it's mostly because of the actions of that man or that woman or what they do for them or for him or her. But when you live under the same roof with somebody for 6 months or for 1 year, those people will start exhibiting those behaviors which naturally you did not see before. But now you're living with them, you can see them. But if you're not committed, you will leave that person within 6 months. But if you are committed, you will work with them. Since two of you are committed, two of you work together to improve him and to improve yourself. Two of you work together to make your marriage a success. If you guys think that love is what kept couples who have married for, let's say, 40 years together, you guys don't know anything about marriage or about male and female dynamics. People don't just know anything about it. What kept most of these people who have been married for 40 years is commitment. We are committed to each other. Because obviously there are some times they felt, you see this marriage, I'm ending it. There are some times they must have felt like that for the past 40 years. But later, they will come out to their senses. Simply because they are committed. But if they do not understand the principle of commitment, once they feel that way, they immediately fight for divorce. And this is what feminism encourages. Feminism encourages women to not be committed, but to hold on to the idea of love and marriage for love. What if the love is not there one day? Because definitely one day is not going to be there. Are you going to leave? Are you going to abandon your husband? Are you going to make your children to become fatherless? Are you going to answer a divorcee? Are you going to get into a second marriage simply because you stopped loving your husband and you start making these foolish decisions, which will end up not only affecting you, affecting your children too? So rationality is important in marriage by both partners. The truth is, the biggest problem with women when it comes to marriage is that they are too emotional. Women are not logical. This is my problem. Assuming women were a bit logical, they'll be like, this man has done this thing now. If I divorce him, what are going to be the repercussions? Is it the worst thing to do? Is this going to affect my children? What is even out there? What am I going to look for out there? They don't ask themselves these critical questions. They just fight for divorce and start celebrating. And their fellow divorcee women will also be celebrating them because now they have company to join them in their misery. Because a situation whereby you divorce your first husband, there's also a 90% possibility that you divorce your second husband. Then what's the use of ending the marriage? Why can't you guys sit down and work it out? That is where rationality comes in. That is where commitment comes in. That no matter what problems comes into this marriage, that we are committed to making it work. And we will sit down together and find a solution to it. But women don't think this way. They're always acting in their emotions. And their fellow divorcee women will be telling them, go girl, you deserve to be treated like a queen. You deserve better. What is better out there? Most women who divorce their husbands, they go into the second marriage and they also divorce again, which basically makes them mess up their lives. Most women who are divorced are unhappy because they now discover that after the first divorce, they still met a second man and the man still did the same thing, and they still go to a third marriage and the man still do the same thing. Men are men. The leading cause of divorce in the world today is infidelity from the husband and also financial problems and all those things. Now, personally, and this is an advice I will encourage every girl to take, the only time when it is necessary for you to immediately divorce your husband without thinking or trying to get logic out of anything is when he beats you, when he lays his hands on you. Because that is like you. If you end up staying in that marriage, that is like you signing your death warrant that you want to die and he should kill me. He has the freedom to kill me. But if a man, because like it or not, men are men. 90% of men in marriages cheats. And personally, it will not be advisable that you destroy your marriage simply because your husband went out and did certain things with people who don't even matter. It makes no sense that you destroy your own marriage, that you make life harder for your children. Now, if your husband is bringing them home, bringing women home to your matrimonial home, that's a different thing. Or disrespecting you by sleeping with your co-workers, by sleeping with your house helps, by sleeping with those close to you, that's a different case. But if he does it outside, because like it or not, the truth is men are polygamous by nature, especially a man who has resources. Go to history, check your history books, right from the beginning of right from the dawn of humankind. No man who has immense resources has ever been sexually loyal to one woman. Now, I'm not encouraging men to go out and sleep around, but I'm just trying to tell you the reality of men. Any man who has resources, there is a 90% possibility that he will end up having multiple sexual partners, even with a wife at home. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm not encouraging men to go and do it, but I'm just telling you guys what you people should understand. This is reality. Men will always do it. So before you take critical decisions that could affect not only you but your children too, you should sit down and think and weigh your options. Because rushing into making decisions based on how you feel, based on emotions, gets you nowhere. It basically gets you nowhere. So the best thing you should do is sit down, analyze it, and know if it's the right thing to do. Logically. So guys, that's what I wanted to tell you guys on this video. Love doesn't make a marriage to last. What makes a marriage to last is commitment and communication. It's as simple as that, guys. Simple as that.